You're listening to thinkBIGradio.com, where big thinkers come to teach and learn. Your goals are our goals, and your success makes us successful.
Hello, everyone. It's Ken Big Blake from canbigblake.com here on Think Big Radio. We do have an awesome guest this evening, Dontai Keith. Never Too Young Productions. He's an actor. He also uh, is a writer, and he has written a book, and that book is actually in pre-production. So we're going to get started. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I like to first also just thank God for, giving us all the abundance and this obedience to following our purpose. I also just thank my production team, my management, Never Too Young Productions, as well as Marilyn Frazier, who is here, and as well as Melanie. That's our production and also administrative office leader. So thank you guys for, having me tonight. I'm Dontai Keith, 31 years old. I live here in Indian Trail, North Carolina. I'm a military brat. A little bit about myself is I've been on camera since I was a kid, but I loved just being the center of attention. And as I got older, I just feel as though like I would put my skills to the test. And so I got in front of the camera, and from there, I was like a full steam ahead train. Couldn't nobody stop me. So from that point on, I got to start modeling for a lot of big agencies. I modeled for Abercrombie and Fitch, in Maine. Then I went to New York and traveled with that. After that, I took lead into acting for theater. I did some stuff in high school as well, which led me to the actual big screen. And I did some stuff. That's why I met Marilyn Frazier. We met on a show of Fox called Shots Fired. That was screen shot here in Charlotte, North Carolina. From there, I've took it off of my entrepreneurship and just started writing a book. I wrote a film, so it actually turned into the book, and now we're in pre-production for the film.
All right, great. So let's talk about you saying that you love to be in front of the camera, and that kind of led to the acting. So what was it? Did you have like a plan from the beginning that you just said to yourself, I'd like to be an actor, or did it just kind of unfold naturally with your outgoing personality?
I believe it unfolded with my outgoing personality because as a kid, I was always like funny. I was always the class clown, but I was smart. So I made everyone laugh, even the teacher. But even if I got disciplined in school, I still did my work. And so we used to have like how you hanging with your friends and you all making jokes or whatnot. And they're like, man, Dante, you are too funny not to be, standing up doing comedian work. So I thought about being a comedian. But one thing I learned from Jamie Foxx was if you don't laugh at your own jokes, then you are not funny.
Hmm.
And a lot of things that comedians say, there's so much truth behind it, but the retrospect from the world is truthful, so they laugh at the truth, but meaningful that it's actually probably pertaining to them.
That's funny. I've never heard that saying that if you don't laugh at your own jokes, it's not funny. And I know a lot of people who laugh at their own jokes. I hope that they don't believe that they could be comedians just because they laugh at their own jokes.
Yeah. So like, it's a lot of things that, people they just get inspiration from others. And
Mhm.
Jamie Foxx is one of my like the top comedians like
Yeah,
I know, especially I mean, because he's just hilarious, but especially with the original show, Jamie Foxx's facial expressions for me,
hmm
that's what really gave me the thrive to really be, my own person. Because,
Okay.
when you look silly and you're uncomfortable in your skin,
hmm
everyone else says, oh man, this guy is brave. This guy's intuitive. He has the motive to actually get out there and be silly in front of people, in front of cameras. And which led me to say, I think I can do this on camera, like, and be on a TV as well.
Okay.
So, like, as far as, me being a model, taking pictures, I said, let me try this and actually be myself and be funny and be natural and give all these facial expressions and also these body gestures that actors do. And I had to find my niche. And my niche was to pinpoint somebody in the audience and make them my mirror.
Okay.
Because when you are driving or you're in the shower or in the bathroom by yourself, you're literally looking at yourself to the point that it's like no one's looking at you. So it's you just being yourself. So I
Mhm.
made someone in the audience or someone, the camera lens, if I'm actor at this point, I made the lens my mirror. So when you take that narrative of how you just be comfortable with yourself, when you look at all these tip top actors and how they are, it's like, they're so comfortable. It's, you got to study your craft. So I just
Right.
studied my craft a lot and just became who I am today, and after that, I said, like, instead of me being in front of the TV or being on TV in front of the camera, let me work behind the camera and see how it works. And so that what led me to just start writing. I asked God, I said, like, give me something I can put on paper. And here we are today, a couple of years later, with a pre-production movie.
That's great. Tell me how you landed your first part.
Uh, I was actually a dancer in high school, and when I used to I was the only person to know how to do the moonwalk in my school.
Oh
So
my God.
obviously,
What school did you go to?
I was up in Maine. Like I said, my dad was in the military, so we traveled a
Okay,
lot.
all right.
And so, like I said, I was the only person to do the moonwalk. So I ended up being Michael Jackson for all the plays that we did and such
Okay.
like that in theater. And so I went to Massachusetts. And once I got out there was a lady who needed some dancers and also some actors. And when I landed my first role, I was actually the lead. And it was in a musical called There's Something About a Sweet Talking Man.
Hmm.
And that's what led me to actually, like, this is actually fun on stage. And I was very theatrical with a big bright smile and just memorizing my lines. And they thought, I was so charming and said, you ought to be on TV. And from that point on, I just really started taking more theater classes. I started with that. I did The Chair. I've done.
I'm sorry, you said you did the chair?
Mhm. It's
And
it's a stage play called The Chair,
okay.
and it's based upon you just got this one big, just like a big old couch, and it was like a family that's going through all this struggle. And so, like, once I was actually a background person, and one of the people got sick, and so I became one of the leads.
Hmm.
And it took me to understand, like, in a blink of an eye, things can happen, things can change, but how are you going to manage at that point in time in your life? Are you ready? Have you trained? Are you skilled enough to take on this leadership position or role, whatever it may be in life? And so, like I said, once I took on that proposition, I killed it. I mean, I'm me, I
Right.
killed it. So
No, it's funny that you mentioned that the opportunity presented itself and then you weren't afraid to take it. And it kind of reminds me of Les Brown when he would go to the radio station every
I use that analogy so much. I literally
yeah.
told two people that analogy, I think this week, I kid you not, about when the man, he said, I want to be on a radio host. He said, well, come back another day. And he came
Hmm.
back the next day. He said, why are you here? You told me to come back another day. Today's another day. So he's on the leave again. So he came back the next day. He said, why are you here? And he said, well, go get me some coffee. The guy got sick. He couldn't turn in. You think Les Brown gave that microphone to call somebody else? No. He had the ambition to do it himself. And he got so much, and he had so much energy, so much
Right.
drive, so much like life in his voice, and his meaningful behind his purpose. He's seen the light. So we took it. And that's what I try to encourage all the people, all the writers, all the actors, and the people who are in this world or this filming world, because when opportunities come, it's not coincidence. It's not by mistake. Because everyone always say you could be at the wrong place at the right place at the wrong time, or wrong place at the right time. It's like you have to get it together in life mentally before all actions take place afterwards. And when I talk to individuals who play football, and also like certain people who play uh any kind of sport, but also I was just in a writers group, and I told them there's three things that people, they will definitely try to take from you. And I
Okay.
tell them, this right here is your engine. It's like having a car. They could take the gas, they could take the keys, but don't let them take the engine. That's a valuable part. You need a key to start the car, but if you ain't got no engine, the car not gonna work. You can always remake a key, but you can't remake an engine and it be the same as it run the first time. God has individual gifts for every person out there who plants seeds. And it's my purpose on this world to plant seeds. And as many people I can, those are my residual keys. The seeds
Right.
are my keys. The seeds are my keys. So if you could plant in many seeds in people and give them the keys that may start their own engine, come on now. It's like a train. You got to work together to get everything going in collateral so we can all be on the same accord, not with ourselves, but with the man upstairs, and then everything else will flow naturally. So like I said, when opportunities present themselves to you, it's not in coincidence. It's supposed to happen. The thing is, are you walking in your purpose to accept the challenge?
Now I'm listening to you, and it just reminds me of people who are a lot older. Some of the things that you're saying, the wisdom that you're presenting here on this call. Tell us a little bit. I mean, do you have a family? Come from a large family, a small family? What's that home life like?
See, my family, I have my direct family. So my dad, it's just me and my brother,
Okay.
only boys. But we grew up in the church.
Okay.
And my mother passed when I was 9.
Hmm.
And that's my willpower. She's my willpower.
Okay.
And that's the reason I walk how I walk. And I do things I do for myself as a father because my family needs to know the backlash of where we all came from. And
Okay.
I have a blended family. It's my wife's 3 children, and then I have 3 children. So we're all one big family.
Okay. The Keith
And
bunch.
exactly, we got the Brady Bunch. You ain't never heard about the Keith Bunch. So but it's the principle that I try to tell them is, you know, you got to have provisions. And when you are in sync with one, you are in sync with yourself. And so about, like I tell them all the time, and they were so excited when I told them about Intent to Win,
Hmm.
because the book itself, it it presents so many opportunities in life that one may have been through or are going through. And that's meant us with mental health. And so with my family, I try to incorporate everything so we can use vocal, use your vocal, use your mouth, because closed mouth don't get fed. But yet
Correct.
when I preach to them wisdom and knowledge and courage and, all the things they should strive for, they all want to be an actor, a model, a dancer, a singer, and a football player. So, and I tell them all the time, I want you to do what you want to do, no matter what it is. I don't care if you want to go out here and sell lemonade and be the best lemonade in the world. I'm gonna support you with every dime I got.
Right. And I think that that's really needed for people to realize, to be their authentic self, and then not really look at what the system has for us, but
Mm-hmm.
what God has put into us, and then
Exactly.
just work on making that happen.
Exactly.
And I think that it's easier to do that in time than to subject yourselves to things that you're just not comfortable with because it's what people think that you should do.
Right. And like it's like three things I tell people, and people always they ask me one to two questions when I go into work. Why do you still work?
Hmm.
And do you love what you do? And why do I still work is I love people. And do I love what I do? It's my purpose. So there's three people in this life. There's people who have a job, who just want the money. People who have a career, who went to school to learn to get money. And the third one's everyone's favorite, an entrepreneur, just living a lifestyle. So at one point I was young, I'm 31. I just had a job. Then I went to school and I got a career to be in the medical field. And then when I found who I was as a person in my number two job, I said, let me not take a high paying job because my purpose isn't in the money. It's in the people. And that's one of the two questions. Why do you love what you do? Because I love the people. I'm walking in my purpose. So number three is once you find out who you are as a person, you start walking in faith. You don't need no job. You don't need no career. You're not worrying about no money because you're walking in your purpose, and therefore your passion becomes intimate with who you are, and everything else start to flow abundantly and overflowing. And then therefore you won't even work. I can't tell you the last time I checked my bank account because I have literally been working on this film, working with my production team, Melanie and Merida and Frazier. These women have put me in check. These women got their stuff together. They helped me out. They seen the vision through the words I was talking. And that's
Okay.
how we talk about early when you asked me a question. It's like when you speak something naturally and you plant them seeds in people, I gave them a key at that point and it revved up their engine and say, you know what? I want to get a ride, take a ride in that car and see how I ride. And now
Mhm.
we've been going at it for almost a year now. And man, we've been rocking and rolling. Intent to win is here to stay, and we ain't going nowhere. And I just want everyone to know if you ain't got the book now, you better go get it. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's one of my top reads. I'm gonna tell you now, because I went to a book signing. I went to a book signing and someone said, man, I heard you was here. Are you the author? I said, yeah. He said, well, tell me a little about the book. I gave this dude maybe like a elevator pitch, 2 minute spew. He went and ordered the book. The next day, he left a astonishing review. He already read the book,
Mm.
and he said I couldn't put it down.
Wow.
And that's what you want. Like I said, give me something. I asked God, give me something that I can put on paper that people can relate to. And
Mm.
when you get, like I said, when you get so intimate with words,
Hmm.
you talk to someone's heart. So therefore, afterwards, it become knowledgeable, and then they can speak it. And then at that point, they can go through the motions of action. And so, with Intent to Win, it's about a boy. His name is Tristan Hines. Uh, it's fictional, but it brings so much realization and realism to the human body and the mind,
Okay.
because mental health is not going nowhere unless we try to control it. And I
Now,
say, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm glad that you brought that up in relation to intent to win, and it mentions about your mental awareness, and then going through this thing globally right now, and how it affected a lot of different people. You're also saying that you were, doing something in the health field. What Tell us a little bit more about that mental health aspect of the book and how it can relate to us.
So I work in the emergency department at
Hmm.
HM Health. And I started back in 2017. It's 2021. I started writing this book in 2016. So I want to piggyback on how you said about now today. God planted a seed back in me in 2016. And I started writing in 2016, which led me to the medical field because that was my passion of way to go work with people. And so once I started working with people, it showed me the value of life, because you as a civilian, you don't know time we don't know time. Trust me, we don't know time. But when you go into the hospital where I work at, time is not money. Time is value. Because one of my first people I seen, I was coming from lunch break, and there was a little kid. He was 7 years old. I was singing "Lovely Day" by Bill Withers.
One of my
My
favorites.
son. That's my man right there. You can't go wrong with that. And so I'm singing Bill Withers. I come for lunch break, and they giving this little kid CPR coming down the hallway. So you take that, well, I take that, and I think about my children. I think about my brother's children. I think about my family's children, all my friends' children that are maybe 7 and under. And I say, what value of life have I spent that I value so much mentally that this kid haven't even had a chance to know the understanding of value?
Mm.
And you take that and you say, is it normal to feel this way? And so we got these classes, sympathy and empathy class. You got to go through these CBT, computer-based training courses online, and they give you this training. And when you read these questions, it makes you grind your teeth as a man, as a human, because these questions are so, you can tell they're so computer generalized. They have no emotion behind it.
Okay.
But when you're working in the medical field, you better work with a passion and a purpose, because time is value. And so you see all these victims that come in from gunshot wounds, from people coming in deceased already, people coming in from car crashes, people coming, you got to crack their chest open for chest cavities. You got to incubate a person, cut them and jive them, x-rays, CT scans. And you just say, did they value their life? But am I valuing my life right now?
Right.
Because we take life for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I had to put a post up the other day. It said, stop, think, thank, pray, repeat. Remind yourself you are not alone. I had a patient. She came in for a drug screen at my other clinic. Didn't know she was going through anything. I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. Her message that exact morning was the same thing I told her, and I didn't know her. Instantly, she started crying. At that point, the value of my time in her life was valuable to me, because she needed a confirmation and I was her confirmation. I tell people the reason I'm in the medical field is not to be knowledgeable about writing and documenting stuff in the paper. It's about really getting intuitive and interpersonal with my patient, to let them understand that they are a person to me.
Right.
So when I start writing Intent to Win, it was to really get people to understand that everyone goes through these mental changes, these mental developmental issues, and with mental health. And we got to put on these capes. So like I tell you, I deal with all this stuff every night or every day and so forth, and all the medical professionals. And you have to understand that when you are doing this, it's more so for the person, not the money. And so, like I said, with Intent to Win, it focuses on mental health, because you as a radio host, Marie as a salesperson, and Melanie as an agent, or whoever, Miss Latoya, Miss Sharisa, Miss Stacy, all the individuals on this phone, you have an individual job in this world, but yet you have to come home and put on your other cape for your family and leave the communication skills, the personalities, the attitudes, the conflicts, everything out there, but you had to put on a smile, a facade for your family. And mentally, we got to talk it out with ourselves and the man upstairs. That drains a person over time. It's like kind of cut grass and you running out of oil, you run out of gas, because mentally you get so drained and you try to compartmentalize every issue in your head that you forget to keep the man upstairs on the throne instead of your issues on the throne. And so Intent to Win focuses on a young boy who is faced in 24 hours against so many odds, such as betrayal, lies, people who are into drugs, and just betrayal, violence, and ultimately death. And so you take this and you look at the subjective life we're looking at on TV today. Like you said, now we're looking at mental health today. And I didn't write this for today's time. I wrote this in 2016. It presented itself, like I said, about presentation. It presented itself, and now 2020 happened. 2020 was what? 2020 year vision. It opened up a lot of people's eyes, and a lot of people were blind, and it was right in front of their face. And it was a year of purpose. What's your purpose in this world? You've seen so many entrepreneurs come out of the woodworks because you know what? They found their niche. They found their purpose. They found their seed. And all these people all these Black businesses, and all the businesses that open. I'm talking about from making masks to restaurants to, just bars or just lounges for people to actually get out and enjoy themselves and be comfortable with what's going on. Just to find out that you had it in you the whole time. You had it in you the whole time. And so, like I said, you're going down the back. Intent to Win is a story about a boy who has purpose in his heart the whole entire time. And then you take the incidents that happen about what's going on in the world today, about especially being a statistic, how everyone that's an athlete gets subjected to drugs, money, streets, violence, people, even the ones around them, and they lose focus on what their purpose is in life. So with Tristan Hines, he's, like I said, he's a high schooler going into college. It's a big transition, but to find out that violence is around him 24/7, and he doesn't even know, is because he's going through mental issues with anxiety, OCD. His dad is a former military militant. So it's like, that structural background keeps him focused mentally. Well, I should say structurally, like in the flesh, but mentally, he's like a ticking time bomb. When is he going to blow? And once he finds out in the 24-hour time frame that he gets accepted into college for basketball, that's a spark. Oh my God, I got it. But yet, what I say, you come home, you put that cape on, you forget about the world.
Right.
And then you step back out there in the world, and you got to focus on, like, how can I put everything behind me and really get focused on what I got to do?
That's awesome, Dontai. One of the things that I definitely need you to do right now is share with people, because you never know who's going to be listening to this in the future, the best way to reach you. And one of the things that we're going to talk about after you share that is investors for your project. Now, what I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm going to just share the screen for people that's coming on right now or later, so that they can see that while you're actually giving that information.
All right. Yeah. So there's a lot of information out there for individuals who do want to be a part of, or also just invest and give and be a motion to raise awareness for mental health. Like I said, I was actually an advocate for mental health awareness when I was in Maine. And it really spoke to me because a lot of people didn't know it, that verbal altercation or verbal abuse has a lot to do with mental stability. And, when people are such as a child, coming up from a child into adolescence and then to preteens and then adult phase, it's a mature level. So when you have all this stuff going on and correlating in your life, how do you focus? How do you live? How do you thrive? What do you thrive from and off of? And so with Intent to Win, it thrives on mental health. So with investors or people who do want to come apart and be a part of this change, this focus, you can email me at just Keithin it. That's JustKeithinit@gmail.com, or also my Cash App if you are in advance as a PayPal. It's Black Champagne. It's right there on the screen. That's BLACCHAMPAGNE 89. As well as you also want to go into more, like, get, if you have any big investors or any person who wants to be a top priority in the film, contact my production company, my leaders, I'm sorry, my management team at the production company of Never Too Young Productions. That's Never, that's NEVERPRODUCTIONSYOUNG. Never Too Young, Never Too Young Productions. I'm sorry, Never Too Young Productions at gmail.com. And so they will definitely give you guys a sponsorship package for more investors, or like they'll give you a list of certain things that you may be interested in, and how you want to go forth with being a part of the movement for Intent to Win, as well as being like someone who's supportive of the movement and being an investor. Like I said, this is something it's bigger than the book, it's bigger than the movie. This is about life. This is about focus. This is about understanding. This is about children. This is about our communities. And like every time there's something going on TV, everyone want to talk about self, you. No, it's not about individual. It's about us as a whole, us as the world. If one can reach, then we can teach. Reach one, teach one. And I'm a young man. So for me to say this, it means more to me because I am of the youth. So I speak for all people under me from 31 to 0 to 1. Because if you can't speak for yourself, we have to be advocates for others. And if I could be an advocate for those who can't speak for themselves, let me do so by promoting it in the film that people would like. Since people want to see something so much, let's do it in the film. Let me get to your hearts through your eyes. I don't want to go. I don't want to reach so much people that we say, oh, it's all about money. It's not about money. It's about getting a focus out there so people can be heartfelt, so they can see this is more than to about reaching people through a film. It's just more when you read something. When I have people tell me your book is like watching a movie, that was my focus.
Wow.
That was my point. Because when you read a book, it's like, oh my God, he painted a picture. Oh yeah, I'm gonna paint a vivid picture for you.
Right.
And this book here is it's a seat grabber. Like I have my English teacher, Miss Cronin, Miss Cortell. She's up in Maine now. She read my book, but this is my English teacher from high school, and said, Dontai, I couldn't stop reading. And I said, remember I told you when I was a kid, I was a class clown in her class, being a jokester. But I wrote some mean essays. And I didn't know I was going to be a writer. I didn't know I was going to be able to promote and produce a movie from what I can write. But knowledgeably enough, I made it meaningful, not only for myself, so I can reach other people. And like I said, planting them seeds, I'm giving them keys to start up their own engine.
Right. So Dontai, let me ask you, I was reading your press release, and it also mentioned working with your hands, that you were an artist. Did you do any of the is there any pictures in your book, or is it just words?
It's just words.
Okay.
But the thing about being an artist, you can paint pictures with your words.
Right. Oh, it's
so
beautiful.
when God, like I said, every artist is different. I know an artist who doesn't even use his hands to paint. He uses his nose and his ears, and his chin and his head. That's an art. That's divine.
Right.
I can't do that. I'm gonna tell you, I can't do that. Even if I try, I can do it in my sleep. I can look at as many YouTube videos if I want to. It ain't happening. I'm probably gonna draw a smiley face, and that's it.
Right. So listen, we have a number of people here on our live listening. Some of them may have a question or two for you. So we're just gonna open it up. If someone, a couple of people raise their hand, you'll have about two to 3 minutes to ask your question as well as him give you an answer. Is there anyone here that wants to
What
ask a
now?
question?
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I do have Tracy Bradley that's looking to ask a question. I'm going to unmute her. And Tracy, first of all, just let us know where you're from. Ask him his question, and he'll be able to answer for you. We hope. Thank you.
Hi, so my name is Tracy Bradley, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. And have two questions actually. The first one is I hear you talking about your book, which it looks like you are making into a film, and there's investment opportunities, what have you. But I wanted to know for the first question is in terms of the book's Intent to Win. Is that book offered on Amazon? Is it an audio book? How would someone get the book if they were interested?
The book is on Amazon. It's in paperback book and it's also on Kindle. I'm working on getting the audio for my truck drivers now, because I know a lot of truck drivers that listen to read and they love to read. So Amazon is your best bet to go. And I'm local here, so if you can, if you would email me, if you don't have to wait. I purchased a bulk order, and I can actually autograph it for you, and we can actually meet up, and I can give it to you, and you can meet me in person if you want to, Miss Bradley.
And the price of your book, sir?
On Amazon, it's 17. When you buy with me, it's only 20, because I'm going to give it to you personally with the autograph. And, from that point on, I have people email me and they'll ship it to my house, and I just ship it back out to them with the autograph on it. So Amazon is going to be for Kindle and also the paperback copy.
Okay, so let me make sure you said Amazon is 17, but to get it from you personally, it's 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. My second question is, I heard you you had a list of your accomplishment and things that you've done. And I think I heard you say that you wrote this book back in 2016, but it was for a now movement. At that time, were you still working in the healthcare discipline as well as acting? And if so, how did you find the time to write? How did you prioritize your time to write this book doing all of that?
So have you seen the movie 8 Mile?
I don't know. It sounds vaguely familiar, but not sure.
What about The Temptations?
Favorite movie, yes.
Do you remember when he was in the room and he had all them pieces of papers and he was looking for the lyrics to the song?
Absolutely.
Robert Townsend.
No, that's not The Temptation. That's the Heartbeats. Five
Heartbeats. I'm sorry.
Like that one too. Yep.
I love that one too. I got them mixed up. They're both good movies. But that's how I wrote it, with the intent that anytime I had an idea, I wrote it down and I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I called that my bag of dreams.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And every time I wrote, I thought about idea. I'm talking about receipt papers to napkins to sticky notes to anything that can favor ink. And I put it in that bag. And then when I really sat down and I compartmentalized how I'll put it in order, I thought about my climax, and I wrote out my climax first. And when you get the book, you'll see there's like so many climaxes. So which one to choose from? Mm-hmm. But when I wrote the book, I wrote it backwards. I wrote the whole thing backwards. And then what I did was I took my bag of dreams and I just picked from it. Where could I put this at in the beginning? And so how I timed it was when I was working, while I was working. And so my thing is, when I tell a lot of people in the medical field or whatever profession you even do, when you work for yourself, listen to these words. It's gonna make so much sense. If you're not working while you're working, then you're not working. Why would I dedicate myself, also dedicated to an 8-hour shift for someone else that I would never meet, and not dedicate myself while I'm working for somebody to myself? So when I find time, if it's your passion, your purpose, you'll make time. And you'll find time between every inch or second that matters to you. When you have time, you'll make time. If you don't got time, you'll find time. And trust me, I lost 2 jobs because I was working while I was working. And people don't like that. When you have a purpose of your own, they will find a way. If you're not making money for me, adios.
And in some cases, you can be making money for them, but just because your purpose is not
Personality.
their purpose,
Mm-hmm.
they can try to shift you away.
Yeah. So Miss Bradley, I found time when 2016, it wasn't even my intentions to write about what's going on today. The timing presented itself for me to publish my book last year during COVID, but I had so much like discretions, like, am I ready to put it out there? Am I ready to put it out there? And my wife, we sat in this bed and she said, babe, go and put it out there. No matter what you do, your support system will take off and you will run. And
Mm.
like I told Big, I said, I don't know how, but I know how. I haven't really looked at my bank account because my purpose is to walk with intent. And so if you are a writer, Miss Bradley, or you know someone who's writing or want to do anything, you tell them this. If you're not working while you're working, then you're not working, because you will make time for any and everything you have purpose for in this world. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now, do we have anyone else that has a question for Dante? Just raise your hand. If you don't know how to raise your hand, if some of you guys are new to Zoom, just unmute yourself and first of all state your name, where you're from, and then he'll be able to answer your question. Okay, so out of all of the 800 people that we have here on, there's going to be thousands and thousands that are going to be watching your interviews in the near future, Dante. It's a pleasure having you on the show and sharing your experiences. When we do finish with the edited version, we're going to have all of that information at the bottom so that way they'll be able to click on the PayPal, click on the Cash App, email you, get the director's packages and all of that. A lot of times when we do these things live, like now, people just come on and we try to just like how you were saying and how you live your life is authentic. So, it's not scripted. We just try to have a great conversation. You've actually made this a great interview, just sharing the wisdom that you have for people who might be looking for their purpose. And so I have 2 more questions for you. The first is, did you have any mentors or read anything that assisted you along your path? That's my first question. If so, just kind of share
that. My mentors were actually from YouTube. Les Brown, Dr. Miles Monroe.
Oh my God.
And Eric Thomas. So if you know them 3 names, you hitting the grand slam.
Yeah. I just actually ordered Miles Monroe's book. I believe it's Understanding the Power of Man or something similar to that. And it'll be here in a couple of days. I'm going to make sure that when we get off this line that I also order your book. But I don't want to go through Amazon. I think I'm going to be one of those people that's going to meet you with my mask.
Hey, that's fine with me, brother. I'll meet you with my pen.
All right. And so if you have any, follow-up words or, things that you want to get out, let's make that happen. And then just, once you get that out, just, anybody that you need to thank, organizations, people, and get that out. And then we're going to be closing out. All
right. Yes. So I mean, just for me as person, like I'd like to just thank everyone who's been alongside me with this on this journey, especially for Melanie and Marie for just believing in me and for this project. I came to Marie almost a year now, and like I said, we've been working together just with a vision, just words, and My script was halfway done, which I thought. And I was like, she was like, Dante, she said, I got something going on too. And, well, maybe we'll work on mine, but I'm going to help you out. Thank you. That's my wife coming in. Turn on the lights. All right. But when she told me, she said, Dante, I think more so that I'm going to help you with your project. I want you to be my first client. I was like, I started sweating. I had anxiety. I was like, what? Because just when you think about somebody who don't really know your vision, but when you speak, like you said, authentic, and they can, like I said, you speak to their heart, and you speak with knowledge, and you speak with wisdom and purpose in your voice and what you're going for, you are your own brand, is what I tell myself. And you, like I said, Dr. Miles Monroe and Les Brown, they said all the time, you do not want to go to your deathbed with your dreams, your goals, your accomplishments, and things that you could have, even your defeats and failures beside your bed, because they're gonna go right to the grave with you. I tell my brother this all the time. I said, Sherman, if I die, I need you to clean up, because I need you to follow me and do what I do, follow the steps, because it's going to make a success pattern for lineage and longevity. We're here temporarily. So if I can be a temporary impact on someone's life, just to give them the key to their success and their set of a pattern for their track, let me start their engine by giving them a key of success. And that's with words of knowledge, words of wisdom. So you can follow me in everything that I do, as far as on my business page is on my Facebook. It is Intent to Win. That's how it's spelled on the book. Here it is for you. Intent to Win. And it's the number 2. That's my Facebook. And also my Instagram, it's D, it's lowercase d, Keith, that's KEITH _ Intent to Win. And like I said, that's my Facebook. My original Facebook is my name, Dontai Keith. That is, let me see if y'all, there you go. DONTAIKEITH. So when you look at stuff like that and you get a purpose and this realism for what's going on in life, like I said, everything will flow naturally. So like I said, Intent to Win and this film is going to be perfect. It's going to be dope. It's going to be the bomb. So I encourage everyone, if you can't support, tell somebody that you know that they might want to support. And because it's not about compounding the money, not about compounding certain things, it's about compounding people. If we can work together, because if I can reach 1 to 5, out of them 5, 10 more people will come from it. And out of them 10, 20 to 50 will come from that. So if I can reach one person on this call to promote and help, thrive for the mental health, because people are out there losing lives, not by a bullet, by internal defeat. And if we can stop that while being an advocate, but when we see it, do not be scared to talk. Do not, because people will be scared to talk because they feel embarrassed. Everyone's embarrassed, everybody. But if you can help someone from their embarrassment just by saying hello with a smile, I don't care what kind of day you have. You can have a bad day. I tell people, you show me some teeth, I'll show you mine back. Well, I'll show you my teeth, I'll guarantee I'm gonna see yours. Because you can be walking out angry, and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? They'll be like, hey, I've seen some teeth. That's a conversation starter right there. You never know what somebody's going through, and they just may needed a hey, a hug, just a conversation from a complete stranger, because every conversation has a purpose, and it's not for coincidence. You have to, that's how you got to think. That's how you got to think when you walk in this world. And like I said, you have to have the intent to win not only someone's heart, but focus on who you are, because you can find their heart. but you can also they can find themselves in the goals and passions they may have that they lost because mentally they are not all there. And that's how suicidal ideation starts as well. Mental health is one of the top leading causes of death in the US today. So please, I advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. We have to stick out like a sore thumb in the community. For those people that we say, oh, well, why is he out there yelling? Why is he out there? Be that person. Be that person.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Dante, I've really had a great time interviewing you today. The things that you talk about, you know, it's 2021 right now, and I'm sitting here looking at you, but I'm seeing how promising your future is and all the things that you're going to accomplish that you don't even know yet, just from being you. And listen, man, I'm on your side. I'm gonna share it with my network. I hope to be a part of the people that can make this happen for you. But your words of wisdom that you've shared today is well worth it. And listen, kudos, man. You've got my number. You know how to reach us here. You know how to also share share your interview once we edit it up for you, so it'll be real nice.
All right.
And I mean, I really appreciate you, and I like to also appreciate Marilyn, who also shared the information about you. And now I see why she was talking with the stars in her eyes, because you're definitely worth meeting, and you're definitely someone that people need to be behind.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. That means a lot. Like I said, I'm just walking in purpose, man. When you walk in purpose, everything else will follow in abundance. So I appreciate that. And, it means a lot to me from an older, wise person. You are older than me, but you're wise. And for
I've
me to
just got a
be,
couple of years on you.
I'm
I
about
just played it
47,
gray. I put the
I
gray
got,
on there so that I'll look older.
okay. It looked good on you though. So,
All right.
but I appreciate that. It means a lot for me to be and have these individuals behind me, or me, like, and I didn't say behind me, beside me,
Yes.
as we walk and we walk in purpose. Like, and if I can get more youth and, even the elders, like, if we can stand for them as well, and they can stand for us, and we stand together as a community and just focus on the positivity that we can bring through our words. Words, knowledge is power. Back then it was money is power. No, knowledge is power, because when you have knowledge, you have everything. And so if we can stand together and vocalize how we feel emotionally and the stress through everything else, and like I said, pray and serve to the righteous, we will walk in faith and be abundant in this world. So I appreciate that, Mr. Big, and I'm sorry, Big. And so like I said, if there's anything I can do for you, man, you let me know, and we'll definitely keep in contact. And Ms. Bradley, I look forward to seeing you if you want an autograph copy. If not, listen, Amazon is the way to go, and you will not, and I promise you, not be disoriented or like in fault. Like you're gonna be like, man, disappointment will not be in your favor, because you are going to be so hype about this book. So it's going to be, make sure you sit down with some popcorn, because you're going to be like it's going to look like you watching the movie. I promise you. So I appreciate you guys for having me.
All right. Well, with that said, everybody, I'd like to get ready to end this interview. When you guys come back around, you'll of course be able to go to thinkbigradio.com. He'll be on there until we do another interview. It'll have all the information that he's spoken of, so that you guys can get in touch with him, so that you guys can also order the book right from our site as well. And man, I'm glad that I met you today. I'm glad that we had the chance to have these conversations over the past couple of days. And for everybody else that's out there, once again, I'm Ken Big Blake from CanBigBlake.com here on Think Big Radio. And remember to always think big.
You're listening to thinkbigradio.com, where big thinkers come to teach and learn. Your goals are our goals, and your success makes us successful.
Thank